I share what I'm listening to and my thoughts on music and the business daily for free at helloyassine.com. Kendrick Lamar just took down the biggest rapper of the decade on the biggest stage in America for the biggest male rap beef of the past year and potentially of all time. But what if I told you Kendrick Lamar also sparked one of the biggest female rap beefs of the past couple of years as well, from someone very close to home too? Doechii has been crowned as the next it girl in female rap. After winning Best Rap Album at the Grammys for her project Alligator Bites Never Heal, becoming only the third woman to ever win the award, following behind Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy, and the princess of rap at storied and respected label TDE that has produced the likes of Kendrick Lamar, SZA, Schoolboy Q, and many others. It seems like the only people that have a problem with her are those who felt she shouldn't have won because of her lack of mainstream popularity. But Doechii has actually been involved in a beef with one of the most notorious female rappers of all time, and it ties back to Kendrick Lamar. Harlem-bred Azealia Banks would take off in 2011 with her single 212 that was a cross between rap, dance, and electronic music. It was original, it was a hit, and she would go on to have massive success for several years with high expectations, but get into countless beefs, controversies, and just shoot herself in the foot with many career opportunities due to her inability to get along with, well, anyone. She has beefed or publicly trash-talked to anyone you could imagine, ranging from A$AP Rocky to SZA to Elon Musk, and I covered it all in a separate video, but Doechii is someone who she's still wrapped in beef with. Iggy Azalea, a white Australian, was having chart-topping success at the same time Azealia Banks was taking off, with a similar name. Azealia Banks hates Iggy Azalea and would beef with her at that time, but her first interaction with TDE would be going at Kendrick Lamar, who showed support for Iggy Azalea in a January 2015 interview with Billboard. At this point in time, within hip-hop, Iggy Azalea was getting unanimous hate across the board, despite having mainstream pop success. Iggy was also nominated for Best Rap Album for the New Classic that year, whilst Kendrick Lamar had just lost the year prior to Macklemore. So people were quite surprised that after releasing Control, coming at all of these rappers, and losing to Macklemore at the Grammys, he said the following about Iggy Azalea. "She's doing her thing. Let her. People have to go through trials and tribulations to get where they at. Do your thing. Continue to rock it because obviously God wants you here." He was also asked about Michael Brown. What happened to Michael Brown should have never happened. Never. But when we don't have respect for ourselves, how do we expect them to respect us? It starts from within. Don't start with just a rally. Don't start from looting. It starts from within. This was a controversial response, but no one took this to heart like Azealia Banks did, who came out aggressive on Twitter with a long rant that would kick off a decade-long hatred for Kendrick Lamar. When we don't respect ourselves, how can we expect them to respect us? Dumbest ish I've ever heard a black man say. LOL, do you know about the generational effects of poverty, racism, and discrimination? There are things in society that benefit a select few of us. Fine, but don't put down the rest by saying they don't respect themselves. How dare you open your face to a white publication and tell them that we don't respect ourselves? Speak for your effing self. I really pray for the minds of the urban youth. I really do, because I was once on the side of feeling like I wasn't owed anything. Once on the side of feeling like black people ain't ish because that's what America and my social studies textbooks taught me. Becoming an adult and doing my own research has really opened up my effing eyes, and I get upset to know that. There are still young black kids in our public schools being indoctrinated with the same ish they pumped into my head. And F all this ish about erasing racial barriers and getting along. Why does white America think blacks even want to be here? I really just want my effing reparations and want you guys to stop killing my sons and telling my daughters they're ugly. Ever since then, Azealia Banks has had nothing but negativity to levy towards Kendrick Lamar and TDE. In April of 2022, Doechii released her single Crazy and asked Azealia Banks to jump on the remix via Instagram DMs. "I'd love you on my remix for my single. Crazy if you'd be open to the collab." To which Azealia Banks replied, "Let's do it. Send me the track with open space." It's impossible for Doechii to not have been familiar with Azealia Banks' past and personality, but many times with someone as talented as Azealia and someone who clearly looked up to her artistry, she thought she might be the exception, or at least be able to get a song out before things crash and burn later on. Doechii would tease the collab on Twitter, hiding the person telling her fans to guess who. Azealia Banks would confirm the collab on her Instagram story, sharing the DMs, captioning it, "Doechii incoming." On the right is Azealia Banks, and the left is Doechii. LOL, I've been banned from Twitter since 2016. I don't have a Twitter account, haha. Doechii responds, Oh, I was trying to find you, but that's why I couldn't, LMAO. They be going crazy, LOL, but I hear you. Yes, they do. Manager is waiting to hear back from your team before I dig in. Don't know if you want to nudge them. The fans are applying pressure, so they're expecting this. I guess you posted the inbox or something, so let's get this on paper and give the girls what they need. In less than 2 hours, Azealia Banks would update her story to psych, LOL, canceling the collaboration with no public reason as to why. Several hours later, Azealia Banks starts ragging on Doechii, her record label, TDE, and SZA.
What the fuck is even happening at TDE? It's fucking like SZA, it's a fucking snooze fest, boring shea butter fucking like black woman woes, is always fucking crying. You got them like revving up these fucking like bot farms. You got this like Doechii chick who I have no fucking clue who she is. She's been having like this months-long dialogue with some fake Azealia Banks account and like I guess thinks that I owe her some sort of like collab, like, honey, no. Look at what happened to Rico Nasty. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Rico Nasty, but we gotta fucking get her before it's too late. I feel bad for this Doechii girl. They're lying to her too. You're not young Rapunzel. You know, just just black girls being weird to no meaning. You know, just very derivative.
The next day, Doechii replied to fans on Twitter who were claiming they knew what was going on. No, TDE didn't want her on the track for whatever reason and pushed Rico instead, and then she ranted. If you gotta talk ish, at least have facts. Doechii replies, I have to correct you, my love. My label had no idea I had even reached out to her. I reached out to her directly myself, and after she confirmed, I added my team in the loop. My team was very excited for me after I told them she responded to me. And when pressed about the issue, she says, I'm not sure. Sometimes when people have been hurt so many times, they develop a defense and end up creating the illusion of problems because they won't allow themselves to accept something good. Trauma responses. I was respectful, excited, and grateful to make art with her. Azealia Banks reposts this interaction on her story with a laughing emoji before going in on her again.
You talk a lot of shit for a bitch who's not put a fucking single dollar on the fucking table. I don't do anything I do well for free, okay? That's exactly why I don't fuck with you bitches. Because it was a setup with the black girl tragic narrative and the trauma and all the other stuff. Just because you feel like I owe you something for kissing my ass. That was your decision. You played yourself. You really fucking played yourself. Just please, give me a fucking break. I got shit to do.
Things calmed down for a while, but a year later, in May of 2023, in an interview, the topic was brought up and Doechii had this to say.
Nobody she hasn't come for you. Like,
I didn't care. I was like, oh
I
my
think
god,
that's her love language at this point.
It's
her love language.
People take these things too seriously.
They
It's
do.
really not a
It's
big
her love
deal. It's
language.
like it's Azealia. That's how Azealia is. She's gonna do what she's gonna
She's
do. She's
been
gonna
like
say
that
what she wants to
always.
say.
Yeah.
She's not gonna hold it back at all, girl.
She's
At
not.
all.
I do know.
Living in her world.
So if
Yep.
she was gonna ask for a collab, would you do it?
Of course, I'd still do it. I would take the risk again.
Yes.
My bitch, second time's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Put me try it. Like, God.
A month later, while attacking Doja Cat for her song Attention, Azealia Banks likens her to Kendrick Lamar and then proceeds to deliver some backhanded compliments, all the while she trashes on Kendrick's music, California hip-hop, and gives an eerie premonition of what was to come the next year when she compares him to Drake. I really be wanting to like Doja's music, but it's all just so try-hard. But it's also definitely a Cali thing. California rap culture is simply just not as dynamic, impactful, swagged out as East Coast Southern rap culture-ish. Doja Lamar is not the artistic statement she wants it to be. More thoughts on Doja Lamar. To be fair, Kendrick got some cool hooks and melodies, but I think he's mad overrated and extremely complacent. I don't care to argue about ghostwriters because who cares? But nah, Kendrick deadass has white ghostwriters writing about the black struggle and ish. I've heard some feature verses from him that were dope, but he be making that kind of rap music that allows white people to indulge in weird fetishization of the black struggle to patronize and absolve themselves of any real-world responsibility because they think being a Kendrick fan is proof they are allies. The most ironic part of this would be what follows. Kendrick is really bugging if he thinks he's effing with Drake on any day. I LOL'd hard at that little sub he threw Drake and laughed even harder at him thinking he's skilled enough to put his name in the same sentence with Jay. Like, my dude, you are not effing with Wayne, Drake, Styles P, Jadakiss, Nicki Minaj, Remy Ma, or Azealia Banks. Please sit down and be humble. Cali rap guys low-key have zero swag. No offense, but y'all really on some nerd-ish. And not like hot, effable Donald Glover black culture nerd-ish. Like y'all are really the most unappetizing, nerdy, friend-zone type rap dudes. LMAO. Kendrick be hella gassed, LMAO. I dare him to think he's effing with Jadakiss, Sci-Hi to Prince, Lil Kim, DMX, Bun B, Ghostface. Like, I can make a list of 200 rappers that are hotter than Kendrick. LMAO. She would finish this up by teasing her own music. The next year, April 2024, Azealia Banks comments on Doechie's profile, unprovoked, when Doechii was asking her fans what she should name them. Definitely call them the wannabes. To which Doechii had enough of replying with grace and said, "The first time you came for me, I let it slide out of respect for my elders. It's not my fault you selling bussy soap and I'm selling platinum records. Leave me alone, please." She was really flexing on her because Doechii had only one platinum record at the time and it was hot out the stove. What it is that got certified in February, only 2 months prior to that. In less than an hour, Azealia Banks responds viciously. "You mean TDE paid the streaming farm to make a single no one even knew existed go platinum? To try and over-exaggerate a semblance of importance or being vital to the music industry? They clearly have not spent a dime of that money on you. You smoke menthol and have yellow teeth. Furthermore, how ironic of you to mention Lissy Boy in such a homophobic manner while your bozo label mates are sucking D with gold front on." She's referencing Isaiah Rashad. "You must know that you are also too dark-skinned and ugly for anyone to believe that you're a victim here. You're the antagonist by default." The next day, Doechii delivers a long response on her Instagram story. "I use my platform to make money and inspire people. Everyone around me is inspired by me. I'm a positive influence. You used to be so respected for your talents and your voice. Now you use your platform to gossip about black artists and sell Mary Kay products. You're insufferable. It took you 3 business days to come up with that comeback just to resort to colorism. Boo. Does it not get tiring being an attack dog for the same very white gays you allegedly vehemently despise? That's the only audience that wants to watch 2 talented black women go at each other's throats. Your brain is fried from meds, you're damn near immobile from the shots. Don't hurt yourself. You gossip about black artists to stay relevant and it's sad. You definitely are an issue, just not the icons. You're 1 post away from the psych ward, stop it. Your diagnosis is wasted talent. I bowed down, I kissed a ring, but chick, I'm me. Hate to do you like this, but you're not finna bully me out of my lane. I've done in 2 years of signing what you couldn't do in your entire career. You're welcome." Azealia Banks would give her reasoning for not collaborating with Doechii in her response. "I even told Rochi I would collaborate with her because she was really sweet at first, and all my black gay friends were like, yeah, that would be so cool. I hadn't really heard of her music, always busy, but said yes. But when I seen that video of shooting black women in the head, it's a no for me, dog. Nothing about that was edgy or cool to me, especially in times where videos of black women getting beat up or shot in the face by police are circulating the net. Not cool. Sorry, I'll pass." This is the video she's referring to where Doechii films herself with her boyfriend's gun aimed at her temple. He's the one aiming it. And you'll just have to see.
Do it. I love you.
You love me?
Yeah.
You trust me?
I fucking trust you. Do it.
Azealia then goes on to say that Doechii wanted to go on a date with her and is bitter because she denied it. "I'm late, but LMAO, this is so weak. Everyone on that TDE label is always using black sympathy and shame to prove their non-points. So in one breath, I'm being accused of attacking black artists, and in the same breath, she's here attacking a black artist. So the real tea is, Doechii caught herself trying to ask me on a date like 3 to 4 years ago, and I said yes, but not the real kind of yes, like a polite yes, because she's clearly like 10 years old, right? But sis is really in her feelings because she prematurely announced a remix for a song I hadn't even heard, and wound up not liking, a song I had no deal memo for and was just being too mixy. Sis randomly came in my DM and cussed me out on my birthday. That's all honestly just aggressive dyke behavior from her." That same month, Azealia Banks would drop what might as well have been a podcast on her Instagram story, where she reveals the reason she believes Doechii is beefing with her, when Doechii had attempted to stay out of the way for 2 years straight until she was dragged back into the mix with Azealia Banks. She starts off the rant by coming for Doechii's artistry.
Azealia Banks is a national treasure. Yeah, you got to make your mark. And it's like case in point, like, this is like Doechii girl, like, girl, first off, I don't really think anyone thinks your music is impressive. So that means you need to go back and you need to discover who you are as an artist.
She then takes a detour going into some behind-the-scenes details about the aftermath of her 2015 rant on Kendrick Lamar.
So let's reel it back. Let's reel it back to maybe like 2014. Kendrick Lamar is in Billboard. He's having this like interview, whatever, and it's all over the fucking place. So I actually had the pleasure of meeting Mike Conception. And Mike Conception, he just kept reiterating about how angry Kendrick Lamar was that I checked him. You don't get up. You don't get to say in a time where, because you remember the end of Obama's presidency, there was a lot of kind of just, there was a lot of excess killings of black people, or maybe they weren't excess, maybe they've been happening and, sometimes they don't get reported. But the police were obviously trying to antagonize Obama, and families were being broken into pieces and all type of shit like that, right? And in that situation, your black ass, you do not get to get up there and say something stupid like, well, if we don't respect ourselves, how can we expect respect from white people or the cops? When you're okay with a white woman calling herself a runaway slave master on your song, speak for yourself, nigga. That's what I said. And I remember Mike Conception was just kind of like, yeah, Kendrick wants an apology. And I was like, well, he's not getting one. He's not getting one.
The runaway slave master line she's referring to is when Iggy Azalea remixed Kendrick Lamar's Look Out for Detox song for her track titled Drugs. It was a mixtape, people always did this back in the day, and it should not be confused as a collaboration, which has never occurred between those two artists. She then goes on to explain her theory.
So, TDE, Kendrick Lamar, they have been broiling with this anger for so long, and they find this kind of ugly version of, well, she's not even a version, she's just ugly. And I hate to call a dark-skinned girl ugly because she just is ugly. She'd be ugly if she were light-skinned. They find this ugly girl and they try to sick her on Azalea Banks. So if I'm a woman with self-respect, right, and I'm listening to men basically tell me that they are too afraid to fuck with Azalea Banks, so they need me to go fight a bitch for them, I'd be offended.
Doechii being sicked on Azalea Banks would be great fan fiction if we hadn't already showed that Doechii reached out in a positive manner, trying to work with Banks, got disrespected multiple times, and just tried to push past it without saying anything negative while insults continued to be hurled at her from Azalea. The next thing to pop up that same month would be the full-fledged Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef with official tracks, starting with push-ups. Remember how Azalea Banks had said that Drake would wash Kendrick only a year prior? In response to a Billboard IG post that said Kendrick Lamar's response was worth the wait, in reference to Kendrick Lamar's first diss released, Euphoria, Azalea Banks goes on her story to slam him once again. No, it was not. Kendrick is still 4'9" and wears the same jean size as me. No one on earth cares about the feelings of small fake gangsta nepo babies. Billboard, y'all are really paid for. Even the tone and timbre of Kendrick's voice is an ultimate defeat. LOL, stop lying. And that beat Kendrick is rapping on is dumb trash and the mix is muddy as hell. Quit the BS. Drake won. That's it. The YNW Melly line was weak. That kid is being tried in Florida for a double homicide with potential to receive the death penalty as punishment for his crime. Realize Kendrick sent goons to have both diss tracks from Cole and Drake removed from DSPs before he dropped this Ishi Pamper. Drake should be petty and file against him for death threats, since prosecutors like to use rappers' lyrics as evidence. Ironic, because this was another premonition Drake would file. There's absolutely a legitimately legal way to punk Kendrick into also giving Drake an apology and having him remove his garbage track from the internet everywhere. As Kendrick Lamar continued to decimate Drake throughout the beef, Azalea Banks would remain quieter than usual, until she gave a full-on rant via Instagram after all the tracks were released. Y'all are really gassing Kendrick for being such a Drake fan that he stayed up, clearly on a substance, for almost 5 days to write meaningless love songs in which he spilled absolutely no tea. As a fellow Gemini, Kendrick clearly thought this would be a clever way to relaunch himself to the forefront given the lack of pop cultural fanfare from his last release. I don't need a degree in psychology to know that for a so-called Pulitzer Prize winner, to use his platform in such a weak manner, completely obliterating any prestige associated with such an accolade, is a clear sign of lack of self-control, and quite frankly, Homeboy, Sandman, and Tupac deserve that accolade for hip-hop, because Kendrick is the most boring rapper ever. Tupac is not from the West Coast, babe, and he'd probably think you're a cornball. She would caption this post quite disturbingly. Kendrick's D is wild trash. Everybody gotta stop acting like all the rappers don't have work done. This is ultimately all about Kendrick's short man, short D insecurities. Why call Drake a PDF file when 17 is the legal age of consent, and in many states, it's 16? In June of 2024, post-Kendrick Lamar-Drake beef, and Azalea Banks being completely wrong about the outcome from her rant the year prior, Doechii may have begun antagonizing Banks, because she would do the same dance Azalea Banks had done while holding a machete. Perhaps she was feeling herself because her label mate or former label mate had taken down the Goliath of the rap game, and she was now confident and prepared for anything, establishing herself after several years. Like a bear in the middle of hibernation being awoken, Azalea got to him. Okay, but you're one day out from a show in Miami in a 1,300 venue and ticket sales are at $250. Effing comedy. Doechii, please hang it up. It would quiet down again for months. It's an on and off thing between these two. Until 2025. In the beginning of this year, Azalea Banks went in again on Doechii after a fan asked if she agreed that Doechii was one of the hardest rappers out right now. Absolutely not, LMAO. She got Def Jam, Poetry Slam, New Yorican Cafe music, TDE writing camp-ish. It's given DEI higher. Everyone has convinced themselves she's good because she's dark-skinned, and if you tell the truth and admit she's boring, you're automatically colorist or whatever. But she looks horrible in them outfits. The hyperpigmentation around her coochie and butt is so crunchy, but she loves showing it, LMAO. Honestly, all this sympathy accolades she's getting could have gone to Asian Doll. Asian Doll is dark-skinned and gorgeous, and her music is fire. Asian Doll's music is garbage. And Asian been hot for a minute. The girls don't want to give her 10s because they're all jealous of her. She's effing fab. Like, how did hip-hop really overlook Cupcake and Asian Doll for Ice Spice and Doechii? Be serious, y'all, come on. I'm definitely a hater, but I'm not a liar. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you Doechii got one song that isn't some corny Issa Rae playlist black girl magic algorithm unexcitingness. She does nothing for me. Someone at TDE suck some D for that Grammy nom because no one knows any of them songs, lol. Plus I really F with Flo Milli too. I like Flo Milli. Plenty of fabulous dark-skinned girls getting overlooked for not being ugly enough to give sympathy support. I really wish she was fab so I could agree with you all in saying I'm a hater, but it's not giving. And all in the industry agree. LMAO, the gays be saying she looked like a bag of rocks. Keep in mind, this was all prior to the Grammy victory, where a fan agrees with her statement and adds, I believe it for sure. You can see and hear the subs clear as day. Like when Doechii shaded you on America Has a Problem remix in Alter Ego, just to turn around and want to collab. She knows you're a Gemini. Baby, it's over. I'm happy for her though. Azalea Banks responds, you mean when the 7 men she has writing all of her music subbed me? LOL, Doechii is just low self-esteem enough to be an attack dog for actual hip-hop homos who want to battle me, LOL. She's not writing any of that stuff. Which is why none of it bothers me. I am an effing singer, from start to finish. I got famous for rapping on accident, but I don't really care for it like that, because there's no competition or comparison to be had with Azalea Banks the singer, period. And I really have way too much swag for any of that obviously written up sitcom rap-ish she does that really only impresses a specific type of black female audience. Doechii is good at acting like a good rapper, but the artistry is not of her own design, it's TDE writing camps. It's like Issa Rae's Insecure in rap form, very post-Black Girls Rock, very commodified. Anyone could be Doechii, to be honest. It's very Maxine from Living Single. Just recently, on February 9th, Azalea gave her thoughts on the Super Bowl after she was asked by a fan. Don't lie, girl, and don't enter on Zen mode when Kendrick's halftime just happened, WTF. To which she says, no, I'm so tired of TDE and their shenanigans. Everyone there is just like short, funny-looking, strange plastic surgeries, and fake folk singer accents. They're all kind of corny and don't compliment one another well. Very happy to move past it finally. It was trash, like I knew it'd be. Now, Zen time. It may be cool down time before the cycle inevitably starts back up again. If Azalea Banks said Kendrick Lamar gave a great performance, it would have been the same level of surprise as if academics finally admitted that Drake lost the beef. The hate is still there for TDE on the 10-year anniversary of when she first called him out. Several days later, Doechii was asked about Azealia Banks again in an interview, and it's clear there isn't any bad energy from her.
Well, wait, okay, what are we talking? Okay, hold on. We're talking about just music, Azealia, or we're talking about whole person?
All of it.
All right, fine.
Yeah. I'm on the fence, bitch. I don't know. If we're talking about the music, on. If we're talking about her, off. I don't know.
Instead of just coming out with hate and vitriol from her end, which many would say she's justified to do, Doechii still gives credit to the music Azealia Banks has put out. And it looks like Zen time didn't last long, because on Valentine's Day, Azealia Banks would get triggered by an Elliott Wilson tweet where he calls it the dot era, with a long thread of her own. The reason why this is just not believable is because there's absolutely nothing aspirational about being a short, dark-skinned, nappy-headed, asthmatic dude from Compton, California. To be a star, men have to want to be you and women have to want to F you. Kendrick has neither going on for him. Men want to be Drake and women want to F him. That's why he is a star. But you're ugly and light-skinned. I'm sure the cognitive dissonance is effing with your head, especially now that you're old and ugly and light-skinned. I'm 130% positive Drake has a bigger D in his pants than Kendrick. Kendrick has no D print. He has nothing women want. And since he has no chicks, there are no men who want to be him. It really boils down that simply. I don't make the rules. There's nothing even remotely appetizing about rolling over in the middle of the night and seeing your little brother's hairless bird chest and his little braids on the pillow. Y'all are trying too hard to sell Kendrick, but he doesn't work as far as the human commodity part goes. Like, you guys couldn't photograph him taller if you tried, and women are just never ever going to be into short men. Men are never going to aspire to be short. There are very basic biological things in the way here that no amount of industry hoodwinking will hide. Kendrick is a short king. The end. Sure, Serena was crip walking, but is she going to let Kendrick F? Absolutely the F not. Not even if she were single. I hope you're beginning to understand the myriad in ways in which Kendrick really embarrassed himself with this. Another reason Drake is a more viable product than Kendrick is that Drake speaks English in ways that are easier for a non-English speaker to understand. It's the reason why these Chainsmokers songs are so globally massive and why people make lyric videos. Western entertainment culture is the global standard, so when a person from Vietnam or Turkey or Senegal or China can also grab bits of English language, you'll have an even bigger success. Because music and learning work as evidenced by the use of music to teach children. When I saw you guys in Spotify lie about Kendrick having most monthly streamers, common sense revealed that to be an absolute lie. Kendrick doesn't have enough of a grip on a standardized American English accent to make anyone outside of Compton know or care what he's talking about. The numbers for Not Like Us are 10,000% inflated, which is why you guys keep dragging it, because you know you've all miserably failed at trying to play Drake's game. There's no doubt in my mind that Azealia Banks was not lying about how furious Kendrick Lamar was when she decided to come for him after that Billboard interview. Although the bitterness that Azealia Banks holds towards Iggy Azalea and the diplomacy that Kendrick Lamar showed towards her in his 2015 interview set her ablaze into a hate train on Kendrick that has been going on for a decade now. This is likely the real reason she hates Doechii. When the team reached out to get the feature done, Azealia Banks likely figured out she was with TDE and said F them and F her. Which, for all intents and purposes, I get. Do I agree with it? No. But with the hatred she has for Kendrick Lamar and that record label, I don't think Azealia Banks wanted to contribute to anything that could uplift them, and Doechii just became the new aim for her vitriol. At this point, Doechii has just been catching too many W's, and it comes across as bitterness to hate on her after she just won the biggest accolade possible, is on a strong momentum, and is reaping all of the rewards that Azealia Banks could have had if she opted to just get along with people. But for some artists like her and Space Ghost Perp, despite their talent, that was never a possibility from the get-go. Get 1,000+ deleted videos and exclusive content at patreon.com/helloyassine.